Now, without a doubt, squats are one of my favorite exercises to do on leg days. And for me in particular, I love going heavy. But you got to treat your squats like a relationship. You can't just rush into things. You got to take your time and ease your way into it. You can't just jump straight into some heavy weight on squats. You need to learn how to properly warm up leading up to your top sets. What's up, everyone? David here. Got a new video for y'all today. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. Now today we're talking about squats. They refer to it as the king of all lower body exercises. Now for me personally, coming more from a powerlifting background, I'm concerned with how much weight I load up on the bar when it comes to squats. Now I go into every leg workout knowing exactly what my top set is going to be, how many sets, how many reps I got to do, and with how much weight. But here's the thing. You can't just jump straight into that without taking the proper approach to it. All right, you got to warm up accordingly, and that's what this video is going to be about. I'm going to be going over personally what I do as my squat warm up, but doesn't mean you all have to do it. This is just what works for me. Everyone's warm up is going to be a little differently. Now, let's actually talk about what is the purpose of a warm up. The purpose of a warm-up is pretty much to get your body ready for whatever it is that you're about to put itself through. But too many people, they overcomplicate the warm-up. And I just understand why they have to spend so much time doing this, that. No. Let's just break it down. Let's make it real simple. The warm-up shouldn't be like a full half an hour. I always say, if you have to spend half an hour warming up, loosening things up, getting ready, you're that stiff, you're that tight, whatever it may be, then man, you got some serious problems here. Your workout is going to take what, an hour and a half realistically? And if you have to spend half an hour of that time just loosening things up, warming up, then you got to really reconsider whatever it is that you're doing the rest of the day. If you're only doing a 1 hour workout, but you have to spend that much time warming up, you got to really reconsider what you're doing the other 23 hours a day. There shouldn't be a reason why you're that tight, that stiff in the first place. There are some days when I do feel stiff before I work out. There's other days where I don't. I tend to work out in the morning. So from the moment I wake up to when I actually start my workout is realistically right around 1 hour. Some days when I wake up, I feel really tight, granted, because I just spent how many hours in bed sleeping at night. Other mornings, I feel good. So on those mornings where I do feel stiff and I need to loosen things up, all right, well then real simple, I'll go ahead and foam roll. Now I got two different types of foam rollers. I got the traditional looking one, and then I got the one that's called the rolling pin, because it literally looks like a rolling pin if you're about to knead out some dough. Now, this one I use particularly for the legs. So if I'm working my calf, I'm rolling the full length of the muscle, getting every angle. Once I'm done with that, then I go ahead and go into my thigh. So I always tend to start off right here on my inner thigh, again, getting the whole length of the muscle. And then I start working my way upwards to the quads, still hitting the full length of the muscle. Then I go ahead and make my way over to the IT band. Pretty much I'm making my whole way across the entire thigh. And then if I have to flip over, get the hamstrings, boom. And then I'm back to where I started. Once I get that way, then I work my way back. And this entire time, I'm applying a decent amount of pressure. All right, you shouldn't just be casually just rolling like this. No, actually add some pressure to it, because again, we're trying to loosen up the muscle. And if you feel you got a certain amount of tightness in one particular area, you feel more discomfort, that's a good indication that, okay, maybe I should spend a couple more seconds directly on that spot. All right, knead out the rough spots. Once I get one leg, boom, I go ahead and get the other side as well. Afterwards, I go ahead and roll out my back using this type of roller. So I start off right here on the lower back. And I just let my spine curve over it. And right here, if I hear some cracks, that's good. If not, no big deal. I'm pretty much just loosening up because, the spine was stable the entire time that you were sleeping at night, or if you're someone like me that works out in the morning. If not, then just leading out your lats, your rhomboids, lower traps, pretty much just going the entire length of the back. Really emphasizing again just how we did on the legs. If you feel one area specifically where you got a knot, okay, maybe spend a little bit more time right there. If not, then go all the way up, all the way down. And the two main areas that I emphasize are realistically right here, my lower back and more of my lower traps, because my traps, that's where the bar is going to be setting on. So I want to make sure they're ready. And then my lower back, simply because it just feels good. It feels like I'm giving myself a massage. So that's realistically all I do when it comes to tissue work in terms of, myofascial relief. Myofascia means, just kneading over the muscle. That's perfectly fine. It's not an everyday thing that I do that, or every time I'm gonna squat, or every time I hit my legs, I'm gonna be doing it. It's only on the days that I feel like I need it. If you don't feel stiff in the first place, you don't need to do it. The warm-ups are just to get you ready for the workout itself. But if you already feel like you're ready, you feel like $100 ready to go, all right, then go into whatever it is that you're about to do. In this case, the squats. Once I get all the rolling out the way, all right, now I move into a little bit more of our dynamic stretches. And since we're on the topic of stretches, this goes for any type of warm up before any type of lift, not necessarily for squats, but for anything. You never want to static stretch before any major lifting session. Now, what exactly is a static stretch? A static stretch is the one where you're pulling the muscle, stretching it, and you're holding it in this static position. So things like this, when you bend over, touch your toes, things like that, where you're holding the stretch. No, you never want to do that before a workout. Static stretching should be done at the end of the workout as a cool down. The type of stretches you do want to do for a warm-up are dynamics. You're still moving a joint across its entire range of motion, and it's still stretching the muscle as you move it, but you're not holding it in that position for a long period of time. No, it's just briefly. So things I like to do are like the things that you did in PE class when you were a kid. Arm circles going forward. I do 10 of these, 10 going back. I twist side to side, feel the cracks, hear the cracks in my lower back, do 10 each way. And then I work my way down to my hips, opening, closing the gates, bring the knee up, then out, and then I repeat that 10 one way, and then I do the opposite, knee out, going in. So now we're closing the gate, 10 each leg, and then afterwards I move on to my ankles, rotate 10 one way, then 10 the other way. Do that for both legs. That is all I do for the dynamics. It's pretty much just you're loosening up the joints, moving them across the range of motion, getting them ready for that squat. Now, this next one is more of I wouldn't say controversial, but it definitely has its time and place. I just don't think people quite understand why they're doing it in the first place. So whether you want to call it as activation exercises or priming exercise, whatever it is, typically it will be done with something like a band or a cable. For upper body days, like a bench press or whatever, you see people do this with the cable, or they do it with the plates, or doing some of these. That's perfectly fine. For lower body, what I would do is I grab a band, put it around my legs, and then I put it around my knees. I go down to a squat like this, and then I'm gonna go 10 pushing the knee out, and then I go 10 with the other knee pushing it out, and then I go 10 both ways. Afterwards, then I'll go ahead and do some regular squats. Again, really emphasizing pushing those knees outwards, go as low as I can, do a couple of pulses if I need to, and then come back out. So why do I call this controversial in the first place? It's because people say they need to prime the muscle, or they need to activate the muscle before getting to the lift. But I mean, when you're doing a regular squat, you're doing that motion in the first place. Is that not you activating the muscles already? As long as you're doing any type of movement, the muscle's already going to be activated. All you're doing is additional exercises and additional sets for those muscles. So what I like to do these for, I wouldn't necessarily say they're a warm up for a squat, but if I don't do it now, I'm never gonna do it. I'm just doing it to work out the side right here. Your gluteus medius, the muscles right here on the side of your hips. You see sometimes girls grab a cable, attach it to their ankle, and they kick out like this. I don't do none of that. I don't have time to be strapping up an ankle strap to the cable machine, actually adjusting the cable down below so I can no. I'm just gonna grab a band, hit a couple quick sets before my workout, and I'm only doing it just so I can say I trained that muscle group, because I don't do any direct work for those muscles, even though I believe you should. It's a muscle group just like anything else. Just how you move your arms out to the side when you do shoulder laterals, you should be doing exercises where you move your legs out to the side. I just, again, as much as I say it's important, as much as I say I should be doing it, I just don't. So this is just a good quick way for me to include it at some point or another throughout the week, just so I could say, yeah, I hit that muscle group. But whether you want to include it as a warm-up for your squats, go for it. I'm just saying, whether you do it with a band or you have a barbell on your back, regardless, you're still gonna be pushing your knees out on the way down. These muscles are still gonna be active regardless. And lastly, this is what I believe to be the best warm-up you could do for any exercise. Whether you're short on time, or you're someone like me where you actually understand the true purpose of a warm-up in the first place, and you think a lot of the extra stuff that was demonstrated or you've seen other people do are overrated, this right here, jumping straight into this, is one of the best things you could do, and it will get the job done. You warm up for a particular exercise, in this case, squats, by doing the exercise itself at a lighter weight and then each time slowly increasing the weight. You can warm up for heavy squats by simply starting off with just the bar, then add a plate, then add 2 plates, then add 3 plates. Just start off light, go through the full range of motion, add some pulse at the bottom, get a quick stretch at the bottom, hold it down there in that seated position, and then each time you do it, just add a little bit more weight. That is a great warm up. Does exactly what it needs to. It's getting you ready. It's not like you're jumping straight into hundreds of pounds on a squat. No, you can start off even with body weight squats. Then go ahead, put the bar on your back, do a couple reps with that. And then afterwards, you can go ahead and start adding whatever weights you want. You do not need to overcomplicate your warm up. The whole point is just to get you ready for that top set. And you get ready for the top set by simply starting off light and then making your way heavy. Think of it like you're driving a car. You don't go to 0 to 60 right away. No, you got to get a 10 miles per hour, 20, 30, 40. You got to go through all that first before you hit your top speed. Same thing with the squat. And don't overcomplicate it. If you can only do one thing, I recommend just warming up with the exercise itself, just at a lighter weight, and every set you go, then you start adding the weight. Just keep in mind though, all of these sets leading up to your top weight should not count as working sets. So if your workout program says 3 sets of 8, it shouldn't be a first warm-up set, a second warm-up set, and then finally your third set is something of a decent weight. No. Do all of your warm-up sets first, and then once you get up to that decent weight, now you can start off with your 3 sets of 8 or whatever it is that you wrote in your workout program. So there you have it, everyone. That's something that I would personally do when it comes to warming up for squats. Again, this is just what I do. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Everyone's going to be a little differently. Some people could just jump straight into the heavy workouts. Good for them. Some people, they got to do some extra things, whether it be because you have previous injuries and now you got to really make sure you warm up the joints, warm up the muscle. You got to do a little prehab work, whatever it may be. Everyone's going to be a little differently. What matters is you find what works best for you and you stick to it. Just keep in mind though, you're only young and dumb for so long. All right, don't be stupid about it. Don't just jump straight into some heavy weights. Your older self is gonna hate you for that. Make sure while you're young, you take the time to properly understand what a warm-up is and what are some of the prehab exercises you could do to really protect your hips, your knees, your ankles, even your lower back, shoulder mobility when it comes to squats. Do all the precautions you need to take now. The longer you work out as if you're 40, the longer you're gonna feel like you're 20. Just put that out there, okay? That's why even me in my 20s, I take a lot of precautions when it comes to working out because I want to be lifting for years on end. So I want to make sure I protect my body right now so that my future self won't fail on me. All right, I don't want to be that type of person that says, man, I can't squat at my 40 because my knees are just completely trash. It's like, oh yeah, back in my day I used to squat this much, but now I can't because my back, my shoulder, whatever. No. Do what you have to do now to protect yourself in the future. Just want to throw that out there. Warm-ups play a huge factor in that. Comment down below what it is that you do for your warm-up. What are some tips that help prep your body to handle the massive weights on your back? Also, just comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help y'all out. Be sure to subscribe not just to my channel, but my girlfriend's channel and our couple's channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. And then Instagram, TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, girlfriend's accounts, couples accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.